The laughter echoed through the marble halls of Congress like a defiant drumbeat, quick, sharp, and unmistakably human in a chamber too often choked by performance. It wasn't scripted, wasn't polite. It was the kind of laugh that stopped people mid-sentence. Representative Jasmine Crockett hadn't meant to laugh, not really. But Senator John Kennedy's remarks, smug, steeped in tired caricature and dismissiveness, pushed past her patience. That moment, caught on camera and shared across every corner of the internet, quickly turned into a spectacle. Crockett laughs off Kennedy's lecture. The headlines screamed. But what the cameras didn't show, and what no one expected, was what came next. A moment that would unravel more than a political clash. A moment that would lay bare a legacy. Jasmine hadn't always been in Congress. Before the tailored suits and televised hearings, she was just a girl from the southern edge of Dallas, raised in a house held together more by love than money. Her grandfather, Thomas "Pop" Crockett, was a proud man, not in the way of titles or possessions, but in principles. A Korean War veteran turned janitor, he scrubbed floors at City Hall for 30 years, never missing a day. Even when arthritis made every mop stroke a quiet scream. He used to tell her, "Baby girl, stand up, even if your knees shake. If they don't hear your voice, make them feel your presence." So when Jasmine laughed that day in Congress, it wasn't out of disrespect. It was her shield, a split-second defense against a decades-old tone that had silenced too many voices that sounded like hers. Senator Kennedy, sharp as ever beneath his southern drawl, didn't miss a beat. He leaned into the microphone, looking not angry, but contemplative. "I suppose you think this is funny, Representative Crockett," he said, pausing. "But I remember your grandfather, Thomas Crockett. I saw him mop floors when I interned at City Hall." The room went still. Jasmine blinked, the blood draining from her face. She hadn't expected that. "He used to whistle gospel songs," Kennedy continued, voice low now. "Didn't talk much, but one day he saw me struggling with a copy machine. I was just a law student then. He showed me how to fix it, told me, 'Kid, no matter how high you get, never look down on the hands that lift you up.'" The silence in the room grew heavy. "I didn't know his name back then," Kennedy said, looking directly at her, "but I never forgot his face. Never forgot those words." Jasmine felt her eyes sting. In that vast echoing chamber where posture often passed for substance, she felt small, not in shame, but in reverence. That her pop had touched someone who now stood across the aisle, in a different world entirely, felt surreal. After the hearing, the media swarmed. "Congresswoman, how do you feel about what Senator Kennedy said? Did you know your grandfather influenced him?" She didn't answer. Not yet. This moment wasn't for cameras. That night, she sat alone in her office. The mahogany desk, the framed bills, the echo of her own breath. It all seemed quieter than usual. She pulled out an old photo from her purse. It was faded, edges curling, but clear enough to show her grandfather standing with a mop in one hand and a Bible in the other. Suddenly, she remembered the time he told her he'd helped a young man with a copier. He looked lost, Pop had said. Didn't matter what color tie he wore, a kid's still a kid. Back then, she hadn't understood the power of such small kindnesses. The next morning, Jasmine did something rare in politics. She walked across the aisle. She found Senator Kennedy in the hallway outside the chamber, surrounded by aides. "Senator," she said. He turned, raised an eyebrow. "Thank you," she said quietly, "for remembering him." Kennedy nodded. He remembered all of us. Most just didn't notice. That afternoon, Jasmine took the floor in the House. Her voice trembled at first, but soon found its footing. "My grandfather never held office. He never gave speeches, but he gave something more, his dignity. His time, his kindness, and those things rippled outward, in ways I'm only beginning to understand." The chamber was silent. I laughed yesterday, not because I was dismissive, but because sometimes we armor ourselves with laughter when we feel unheard. But today, I'm not laughing, I'm listening. And I hope you'll listen to not just to me, but to the people behind us, the ones whose names won't be etched into plaques, but whose sacrifices paved every step we take here. It was a rare moment of unity. Applause came not from party lines, but from hearts that remembered their own pops. The custodians, the teachers, the nurses, the forgotten builders of tomorrow. The video of her speech went viral, but this time it wasn't a clip of confrontation, it was a call to reflection. In the weeks that followed, Jasmine and Senator Kennedy co-sponsored a bipartisan bill to support pensions and healthcare for federal custodial staff. It didn't fix everything, but it was a start. Because legacy isn't about who speaks the loudest, it's about who listens, who remembers, and who dares to bridge the distance between laughter and truth. Jasmine Crockett would never forget that moment, not because of the politics, but because, for a fleeting instant, the walls of Congress echoed with the soul of a janitor named Thomas Crockett, whose quiet gospel still hummed in the hearts of those willing to hear it. And that is how a laugh became a legacy.